Now, I take the opportunity to introduce our guest of the day, Ms. Tanvi S Parekh. Ma'am, may I have your permission to please begin? Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am is a marketing specialist with 10 plus years of rich, impactful experience in marketing communication in corporate and commercial markets across industries, locations with proven track record to develop and grow the organization. She has done her BE Information Technology from Maharashtra Institute of Technology and holds master's degree in marketing and brand management from MICA. Currently, Ma'am is working at eMagination with the capacity of marketing head. She has an expertise in complete marketing cycle, branding, corporate marketing communications, and many more. Previously, Ma'am has worked with Percept Mark, Showstuff Entertainment Private Limited, ADP Private Limited. Ma'am is a highly certified professional and has many awards like Best Performer in HR of the Year at ADP Pune, received 11 Performance Appreciation Certificates at ADP Pune for solutions, teamwork and responsiveness by leaders across the organization. Adjudged as the youngest professional dancer of Pune in 1999, won the title of Miss Pune Summer Queen, selected as top 15th national finalist in Sahara Miss Bollywood, and many more. With this, I request ma'am to kindly address the batch.
I'm very delighted to be here today for two reasons. One, seeing all of you sitting here in your uniforms reminds me of my college days. And trust me, they were the best days of my life. The second reason is that I think all of you sitting here are the people who will be changing the future of our country. You are the guys who will make this country into a better one. You will be the people who lead yourselves into corporates, entrepreneurship, or even political sectors of the country. So I think on that note, you all need to give yourselves a round of applause because you hold the future of this country in your hands. Yeah? So I'm here not to give you too much of theory. I'm going to share my journey as a marketing professional and also some success tips that will help you probably in your careers and also in your personal life. Okay? So let's begin with my journey in media and marketing. So yeah, I have a few rules for the session. First one being, don't sleep off. I'll be inspired by you and I'll also sleep too. So that's the one. The second one is please ask questions. Wherever you think I can help you with my knowledge or insights, please raise your hand and I'll love to answer those. Okay? And the third one is we'll have a little quiz at the end of the session. So you need to be alert throughout this little short period of time with me. Fair enough? Okay. So I have a small story actually, a few small stories that I'd like to share with you. So when I was young, I'm a Fauji kid raised Indian Army family. Is anybody here from an army background? You know what I'm talking about, right? Very strict rules, discipline, and it was made very clear to me that I'll be provided with what I need, not what I wanted. So if I wanted extra pocket money or buy new things, I had to earn my own money. So I was very excited to make a lot of money myself. The job options were very limited. So I think I was 16 years old and a friend of mine suggested to me that there is this Miss Pune pageant happening, Tanvi, why don't you try for it? The winner gets 25,000 rupees. And for me back then it was a whooping amount. 25,000 even today is a good amount, right? You can buy like a phone and do a trip to Bangkok. So I was thrilled. We looked up the ad in the newspaper, they had details and everything. But as far as my knowledge went, I was afraid of one thing. And that was, what if there is a height criteria? So I checked with another friend and said, yes, all these pageants have a height criteria. You need to be 5'6" and above to even participate. So of course my morale was a little defeated, but I didn't give up. So me and my friend decided to call the agency. We called them up and we said, so you have this competition coming up and things like that, and do you have a height criteria? And they said, no ma'am, we don't have any for this pageant. We thanked him, we hung up, and we jumped for next 5 seconds, because for me at that point of time, that was the biggest victory I could experience, because there was no height criteria. Anyways, I started preparing for the pageant. There were auditions and, you know, rounds and question and answers. The level of Miss Pune back then was like Miss Universe, and of course everybody wants to win it. I did not share this with many people. I shared this with one close friend and I said, I'm participating in Miss Pune and things like that. And he said, why are you doing that? I hope you know that you'll never win this. I asked him why. He said, because they need winners to be like model material, 5'6", tall, and you know, somebody who can probably in future win other pageants. Anyways, for that moment I hated the friend. And I said, okay, whatever, thank you so much for your insight. But deep down inside, it became like a personal challenge. I said, okay, if I'm the shortest girl to walk the ramp that day, I'm not going to walk out of here without being a winner. So things happened, and having the Fauji spirit inside me, I won that pageant. In fact, I won 5 other in the next 3 years. I was known as one of the girls who was called Chota Packet, who walked into every competition, won it, came out of a crown. So that is where I actually encountered my first struggle, as you would say, in the outside world, outside of school and college, where I realized that there will be enough number of people to make you realize what you fail at, or what you may fail at, and what you don't have. But it's up to you how you turn that challenge into a strength. The only hack or the only trick I used to win these pageants was, I knew in question and answers I could probably floor everybody. So I bought myself 5 inches heels, which would not be seen in the long gowns. So that was the only thing I did for myself, and that made me win like the biggest competition. So for me back then, I'm just stating this. So that is the lesson that I learned. So this is how I actually started my career with performing arts and modeling. So one thing led to the other. I moved into, there were brands that were coming to Pune for advertising campaigns and a lot of marketing campaigns, and I started getting offers to work with them. And I had a good network in college, so they would ask me to arrange a group of people or students for a particular activity, and I would get paid for it. So I think starting this early, I think I started in 1998 with my marketing campaigns up till 2005. That's when I finished my engineering at MIT. So all through my engineering, I was doing all of this apart from studying. So I think that gave me a very large exposure as to how things or businesses operate at ground level. I got to see how companies function and who we really look up to in terms of leaders, how they actually behave and what is needed, what kind of an attitude are they, they're looking for from freshers like us. Anyways, from this great exposure and experience, it was time for me to land in a job or find myself a job. And I was a BEIT and I wanted to do marketing. So another roadblock. Nobody wanted to hire a software engineer or an IT engineer in a marketing role, because this was a highly risky person to bring on to the organization, because the moment I would get another IT lucrative job, I'll quit the company, right? So they were wondering, why is she not going for an IT job? She's qualified in that. And back then IT was paying very well. Of course it still does. And people had prospects to travel abroad. But I had to convince everyone that no, I really enjoy marketing, branding, advertising, and I would like to get a job in that role. So how many rounds of interviews do you have when you go for placement now? 4 or 5? Yeah, okay. So I'm good at that also. I gave 7 rounds of interviews. I was interviewed at 7 levels because nobody was convinced enough that this girl really wants to do what she's saying she wants to do. And the seventh round was with the center head, the CEO of an MNC, and such a busy person, but she actually was very intrigued. She said, I really want to have a chat with this girl. And she asked me, why? Because this will not pay you as much as an IT job does. It will not send you abroad in 6 months or 1 year's time. You still want to do this? I said, yeah, I still want to do this. So finally I got myself a job where I was handling marketing communications, and that's where my corporate career began. And yeah, I grew to understand the function hands-on. I had not done an MBA until then, so I did not come with any theoretical knowledge or any, you could say, books to abide by when it came down to marketing or branding. I learned everything on the job. I know today it's a prerequisite to have a qualification, which is wonderful, which you must have, but there is also a large chunk of your profile which needs to be exposed to the reality of it. What you understand on books, what you study in college, the reality might be different. So you need to give yourselves the chance to understand what the real function is. For example, if you're in HR, if you're in finance, or if you're in marketing, whatever may be your vertical, try and read up or meet with people or connect with people who are actually practicing it. It will give you a clearer understanding of these functions. Okay? So yeah, today marketing careers have spanned to a large number of options, starting from corporate marketing, marketing communications, media management, public relations, branding, entertainment, advertising, digital media and content marketing. I've been one of the fortunate people that over the career span of 10 years of my life, I have worked in almost all of these, and of course nobody offers that to you on a plate. You need to ask for it, you need to prove yourself, and that's when you get the chance to explore any of these verticals. How many of you here have chosen marketing as their specialization? Wow, all of you. And do you guys have social media or digital marketing also in your curriculum? Okay. So social media comes as a subset of digital marketing. But I think by the time you will pass out from the college and go for placement, your biggest challenge will be understanding digital marketing. So I would suggest while you're studying and while you're working on your specialization, please spend some time trying to read up and understand how tools work or how these things work, because it shouldn't happen that you have fantastic theoretical knowledge on marketing, but when you actually step into an organization, you're absolutely clueless about how else are they using other mediums to market, right? So just have an overview while you're doing this. Moving on. So now, since I'm a marketing and branding professional, I thought I would probably give you some pointers about how to stand out in the market, okay? Or I believe so many of you are going to, not compete against each other, but will be at par with each other when it comes to placements, right? So as you grow in your career, what happens is, when you're looking for jobs, there are hundreds of you, just like you, dressed like you, the same CV, it looks exactly the same, just the names are different. Everything is identical. So it often is a challenge how to stand out. Remember that we are a growing nation, we are forever growing, and the numbers will never get smaller. If there is one position open in an organization, earlier there were 100 people, by the time you pass out, there might be 1,000 applicants for the same position. So you need to build a personal brand which makes you different from another. And all of you sitting here in the hall can do this, whether you're in marketing, whether you're in finance, or you're in HR. You need to be an individual, okay? The need of the hour is to carry a personal touch to your personality, It needs to be Of course, your education can be the same, the school you pass out from this could be the same, but of course the way you present yourself makes a lot of difference, right? So here are some pointers that I think will help you create your brand. So the word you comprises of all the things that you've probably experienced. So it includes your talents, your values, your vision, your personality, your traits, your likes, your dislikes, all of it. Please embrace those. Don't try to be one in the crowd. Try to maintain what you actually believe in, or what your personality stands for. For example, when I was a fresher and I had to make my CV, a lot of people told me, please remove your modeling experience. Please remove how many dance forms you've done. Please remove how many books you've published. And I was a little, I hesitated about it. I said, but why, doesn't that make me different from another? No, these are the pointers on which you'll get rejected. But that was absolutely wrong. I think I only grew so quickly in my career to such great heights because I was different. Because I did not remove those from, of course there are times when you have little bogus things on your CV, you should let go of those. But don't let go of your achievements. Things that you've acquired over the years. Could be competitions you won, could be places that you've gotten yourself famous at. Mention those. They make you stand out from one person or probably 100 others. So that is something that you need to embrace. The second thing would be your ability to listen. A lot of times I've seen nowadays brands are emphasizing on this, that you need to listen to your consumer. By consumer, it could be your client, it could be your employer, it could be your boss, or it could be anybody you work with, okay? You need to develop a habit of active listening. By active listening, it doesn't mean that, I listen and I need to immediately respond to it. It doesn't mean that. It means that you should have the patience and the, the stability to listen to someone correctly and infer or interpret what is right for you. Fair enough? So active listening and the ability to listen has to be very, very important aspect in your career lives. Then our ability to adapt and learn. Times are changing. What probably right now is not a very popular thing, by the time you pass out and look for jobs might be a very trending topic. So you need to adapt to that. By the time you'll join an organization which is 2 years from now or a year from now, something else will be new in the industry, in your respective fields. You need to be able to adapt and learn. Don't be staunch and say, I know this is how it is and I'm going to stick to this straight line. No, lines are changing, everything is changing, designs are changing, concepts are changing. You should be able to adapt and learn quickly. The faster you learn, the faster you will grow. Then the books you read. How many of you have read a book in the last 1 year? Slowly hands are coming up. How many of you have read a book in the last 1 month? Yeah, that's the real test. Okay. I hope the books you're reading are not like 50 Shades of Grey and all of those. Those are not books. Okay. Let me tell you how important books are. They can change the way your mind operates. A simple habit. How many of you have read Jack Canfield? Have heard of him? Okay, you must make a note of this. Go home and or go whenever you have the time. Find this guy called Jack Canfield. He is one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, one of the best-selling books across the world, I would say. He's written a couple of inspirational books, and just get your hands on to at least one of those. And you'll observe that the simple habit of probably going for an interview or going for a class, your outlook changes after reading a good book. Fiction has its own place, I respect that, but does that fiction inspire imaginative thinking? Does it do something to your brains? Does it excite you? Does it intrigue you? Does it make your language better? You need to make sure that the book you choose to read, at least one book a month needs to be something that changes the way your mind operates, okay, in a positive way, definitely. So if you practice this, you will always learn something new about your own self. It will help you improvise your own version. So make sure that you read good books, because when you'll go for an interview, and if you have somebody like me who is interviewing you, I'll gauge from a 5 or 10 minute conversation that what you're made of and what you're capable of. Because even if you're not very experienced, if you are someone who's able to grasp and who's well read, for me you're a better investment as a company, correct, rather than someone who's very naive, who hasn't who I have to inspire every day. It's too much of a work. Employers today want self-inspired people. So make sure at least once a month you read, one book a month you read, which does something great to you, which inspires you, motivates you, and teaches you something new. Fair? Okay, so now your knowledge and skills, which is a forever growing subject. You need to keep enhancing your knowledge, you need to keep getting new skills, learn new things, be quick at them. Initially it's going to be difficult. I know most of you will be like, we are already doing an MBA, how much more do we need to learn? But yes, in today's world you need to keep learning. It's a never ending phase, and it's fun. Initially you will find it a little overwhelming, but by skills I mean it could be any sort of short courses. You are extremely fortunate that today's times almost a lot of all international universities have short courses available online. So there's enough content. So if you choose any subject, for example finance or taxation, you will get so many ebooks that you'll be tired. So I'm not saying read all of them, but keep honing your skills. Our country is coming to that point that more than degrees, we are going to look at skills in individuals. So this point you must keep in mind if you're wanting a glorious career ahead. Yeah, next slide. Okay, now we spoke about knowledge, we spoke about skills, we spoke about personality. Let's assume you have them all. Okay, you're brilliant, your CV is fantastic, you're talking well, and everything is fine. But what if you're not able to put it on the table? I'll give an example. Okay, you've read enough Sanjeev Kapoor books, you have watched a lot of his shows, you watch Master Chef, you know how to plate a dish. When I'm talking to you, you're giving me the fanciest terms for flavors and plating and dishes and cuisines. Now what is next step? If I wish to believe you, I'll ask you to put it on the table. I'll say, okay, make something for me. And what if you're not able to? So that is the real test of all your knowledge, all your skills, everything you've read up. So if you're not able to put it on the table, I'm not going to believe you're a good chef, correct? Because you haven't practiced it enough. So whatever we spoke of in terms of practicing a great personality, ability to read or learn or improve your skills, you need to practice that as well. So whenever that moment in your career comes, you are able to put it on the table. Why I've written a methodical and systematic approach? Because this is what the whole phase looks like. You start with learning yourself, building up a skill, and then keep it in practice. Don't dump it somewhere in the suitcase that someday when my employer asks me for that skill, I'll pull it out and I'll show him, see, I've done this certificate, I already know social media marketing. Whereas when he'll check your Twitter account, you have 3 followers, right? So whatever you've learned and whatever skills you're building up, please put them in practice. Just reading them or talking about them is not going to be enough. Now, coming to a more inspirational side of it, your dreams and aspirations. You will see a lot of employers ask you about that, they even have that in a form. And I see a lot of people tweaking their dreams when they're talking to an employer. So if I'm hiring somebody and I'll say, what is your dream? You'll say, I want to be the marketing head of a company. No, that's not a dream. You're changing it, because the same thing, once you walk out of the interview, your friend will ask you, what's your dream? You say, my dream is to buy a yacht. So what happens is, now employers have become far more smarter. They can sense it. They're sensing that you're probably saying it to impress them, whereas your actual dream is something else. So you need to be true to yourself. Make a book, like a notebook, wherein every year jot down 5 dreams that you have, or 5 people you aspire to be. Of course, this list can change. It doesn't need to be the same all your lives, but you need to have dreams that you genuinely, from the bottom of your heart, will work hard for. Okay, so for example, if my dream is to publish a book, it was my dream 5 years ago, and this year I did. So it's something which was not connected to my profession. It's something that doesn't impress my employer. It's not something that sounds very cool or happening to a lot of people. But despite that, it was a dream and I achieved it. So the bottom line is that your dreams and aspirations need to be true to you. Okay, if in an interview you are asked, people will like actually to hear honest dreams and aspirations, rather than just cooking them up because my friend also has the same dream, and my sister also has the same aspiration. So be true to yourself, keep your dreams and aspirations alive, make a diary where you can note them down. Okay, now how do dreams and aspirations come true? You need perseverance. You don't need to give up. You need to be focused. You need to stay inspired. So all the previous points that I told you about, reading the books and having 5 people you look up to, all these things lead to something like this. So you need to make sure that while the journey is on, once you've started your careers, whether it's about placement, you might not get placed in the companies that you aspire to be in, but someday you will. So you need to keep the tempo high, you need to be at it. It's a very competitive world outside, so make sure that you're ready for it. It shouldn't happen that you've lived in your own bubble while you were doing your education, that when you actually step out and you see cutthroat competition in organizations, you feel defeated. So prepare yourself. It will be slightly tough initially, but eventually all of you will shine bright. But to shine bright, you just need to, keep yourself there. You need to stay focused. You need to be inspired. And overall, you need to be a package. When someone is looking at you to hire you in an organization, be it Google, be it Microsoft or Ernst & Young or any big companies, they're looking at a package, okay, who needs to be easily trainable, who needs to be willing to adapt, somebody who's smart, who can blend in and also bring in some individual style on board, whether it's finance, whether it's HR, whether it's marketing. You need to be that whole package for an employer. Okay, so yeah, that is what will make you stand out. Here are some pointers that I think to succeed you must try. I'm going the military way because my father taught me most of these and they've worked wonders for me. So I would like to share those with you. You need to step out of your comfort zone. Okay, if you're comfortable in what you're doing and you think that is going to give you exponential growth, no, it doesn't work like that. You will stay there. Organizations will change. You will just get 1 or 3 promotion in say 6 years time. But some people are happy there. If you're not, then you need to step out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Get out, see another company, see another location, see something that you've never done before. Always keep that little spark alive. That is what is going to make you successful. You will not be a brilliant success overnight just by sitting or doing what you've been doing for the past few years. Correct? Does it make sense to you all? Yeah? Next. Yes, this is very important. Keep calm and embrace failure. How many of you here have failed ever in your lives? Thank God. Initially, I didn't see a single hand go up, and I was like, wow, these kids are going to have a tough time. So I'm glad all of you have failed, because now nothing worse can happen. If you failed once, you know what it's like. What's happening? Why is everyone coughing? I think. Water for someone? No. So yeah, if you failed in your lives, it's a brilliant start, because now you don't have to be scared or worried. It's going to happen. Not just once, it's going to happen probably often, and far more often than what you expect it to be. It's going to take you down sometimes. You might fail in your professional life, in your personal life. Things that you haven't expected will happen at the time that you probably never thought of. And it will break you down. Definitely it will. But that is what makes you a winner, because once you face that rock bottom, you know the only way out is the way up. So whenever you fail in life, please embrace it. Cry about it for half an hour, 1 hour, depends on how big the failure is. But get over it. Don't keep it there, and don't sulk, and don't don't let it cripple you. So yeah, you should save this sometimes when the results are around the corner as your DP. Next please. So yeah, what happens after you failed, you've cried, you've gotten over it? What do you do now? Have you heard of this? Yeah? Have you guys ever had a chance to implement it? You did? Okay, fantastic. So this is the mantra in life. Whenever there's a roadblock, there's a problem, do a SWOT analysis. And it's a practice that I've seen the biggest leaders still do. The biggest people in the industry, whether it's as entrepreneurs or as businessmen or as corporate leaders, I see that they have used this, like a pillar or like a foundation when they operate. So make this a habit. It could be something as small as failing at an exam to something as big as not landing up with a job for 6 months. So you need to always keep this handy and be honest to yourself. I also have a little bit of a tweaking approach when I do the SWOT analysis. I also replace T instead of threats. I also put it as time. How much time do we have to achieve it? Correct? Makes sense to you? Because once you already know your strength, weaknesses, and you know when the next opportunity is, you also need to know in today's time how much time do you have to implement it. So you've realized your strength and weakness, and you know the next exam is probably 3 months from now. How much time do you have? You have, 2 months and 20 days to prepare for it. So that helps you also analyze that, okay, I need to achieve this much in a limited time period. So the age that you are in, time is very critical. So you can use my version of the SWOT analysis and do threat/time. I hope that will really do you guys a lot of good. Next one. So yeah, what we are trying to conclude here is that you need to improvise. So use what is available. Use your qualifications, use your strengths, use your skills. If you're able to communicate well, use that to your benefit and improvise on those. Never seen or interacted with before, and which I feel can add a little star to my company. So be that person. So you need to be yourself and interpret Robin Sharma a little differently probably now.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Any more questions? I'll give it 5 seconds. Make up your mind. Breathe in, breathe out. Sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Okay. So you guys can reach me on my LinkedIn profile. It's with my maiden name, Tanvi Saxena. I have a blog. It's Tanvi S Parekh at blogspot.in. You can find me on social media. I'm easily reachable. If there is anything or any point you think in your careers or in your lives that you would want my help or guidance, I'll be more than happy to offer that. And so it was lovely speaking to all of you. I had a great time. I hope you also had a great learning experience with me. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
2 things define your personality: the way you manage things when you have nothing, and the way you behave when you have everything. With this, I thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. I'm sure the batch has learnt a lot. Thank you, ma'am.